Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Brahmanandam Param Sukhadam Kevalam Jnana Murtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadi Lakshyam Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami. Om. Adorations to Sadguru, who is Brahman, the giver of supreme bliss, embodiment of pure consciousness, one without a second, vast as the ether, infinite, eternal, beyond the three gunas and their modifications, the supreme preceptor. Yoga Vasistha, in Upashama Prakarana, Section 35, Prahlad continues to practice profound reflection, vichar, and practically he has come to a state of enlightenment. And therefore, whatever he is practicing is very important for all aspirants. And how do you know he practiced? Sage Vasishtha tells to Rama. This is scriptural setting, it's always allegorical. I have destroyed the enemy in the form of ignorance, which had robbed me of discriminative intellect. That's the project before every individual. Soul that is not joined with Vivek Buddhi, discriminative intellect, soul that is separated from Sanamati, that's the biggest separation, that one has to fill the gap. All the world you want to unite with, that's just like a deer going to want to have fulfillment by mirage. All the world you can join, and yet without sanamati, pure understanding, you are in a shaky ship. Gossip will help you. And in order to attain Vivek Buddhi, intuitive knowledge, three levels, three aspects of ignorance have to be destroyed. Avidya, kama, karma. They are also brought out in another terminology, mala, vikshepa, avarana. Mala is gross impurity, personality that is gripped by anger, hate, greed. You never know how you will act. Is the house put into a very shaky situation. Sometimes people build their houses near a tree. And I will not go into details. The idea is, same is the situation. Living your life led by your own fancy, led by the whims of the mind. And that seems to the masses very easy and simple and natural. But that is not the ideal state to live in. That's called mala. You are constantly gripped by impurities. And you try to overpower your impurity by finding more impurity in others. So if you have this much of taint in your eyes or wherever, you're looking for people who have bigger taint. And then you feel relaxed. Oh. The world of mala. And it has many subtle ways of fooling your mind. That's gross impurity. Conscious mind is constantly aware of it. But in your subconscious, there are things, there are impressions, subtle impressions that you are not aware of. They are called vasanas. The first one is called mala. And the vasanas cause, they create vikshepa. Vikshepa means distractions in your mind. You never know what is beneficial for you, what will fulfill your desires. And your mind, when you are given a certain idea that this path will lead you to liberation or this path will fulfill all your desires, and you become excited. But then you go into Google. How many are there who is handling that path? And you find there are 100 of them. So now you start planning. This next year I'll go to that one. Next year I'll go to that one. I'm giving you a big extension. The idea, through this distracted mind, even you are following apparently a right course, looking for satsanga. So, for example, led by distraction, you are more involved in hopping from ashram to ashram than listening to satsanga. Figure that out. That's a type of, that's an example of distractions. That's why in the Hindu scriptures, Ravana is described as scholar of the Vedas. But his scholarship was interpreted by 10 heads. One head says something, another head says something. And when all those 10 heads start answering, Ravana is also great. No one is like me. I'm giving you a very crude way to understand what distraction means. And of course, due to distraction, all the malas, anger, greed, hate, etc., their roots stay in that subconscious level. So even though in practical physical world, conscious level, you shut out by satsanga or whatever, still the roots are there. And unless you know the art of handling that, the art of handling is your practice of integral yoga, being truly devoted to God. And that's what art has to be learned. And more at deepest level, that's your unconscious. There is the abode of your ignorance, avidya. And as long as that avidya exists, all these negative vasanas will continue to receive nourishment. So your goal is working to free yourself from these three great enemies, mala, vikshepa and avarana, gross impurity, distraction, and the veil of ignorance. Prahlad had attained freedom from all these. How did he attain it? But now by the grace of Lord Vishnu, I have recovered my vivek. I have recovered my intuitive intellect and have attained the knowledge of the self. That's what this whole sadhana is directed towards. Recovering your understanding. The real understanding called mati, sanamati. That understanding comes from your very soul, and your whole heart agrees with it. It is the root basis of your whole personality. That understanding has gone into turmoil because of mala, vikshepa and avarana. The more you conquer them, control them, sublimate them, greater is your understanding. Understanding, what does it mean? You don't go on understanding the world. You understand your inner self. Who am I? If you understand that, the entire world is understood by you. The entire dream is understood by you if you wake up. Even with little worms, etc., you have to shake your blankets and coverings. But you don't even have to shake your coverings when you get out of your dream. I'm just joking. And he went through a lot of turmoil. The power of knowledge has driven away the evil spirit of egoism that abode in the body for a long, long time. Characteristic of attaining enlightenment is to be free of ahamata and mamata. Ahamata, sense of I-ness. Always want to be called highness. I-ness gets inflated. And mamata is mindness. This is mine. How many things are all mine? And with Ignorance shines with me and mine. In mother worship, they play the role of Shumbha and Nishumbha. And Goddess Saraswati destroys them. Goddess Saraswati is a goddess of knowledge, intuitional knowledge. Now the tree of my body here refers to personality, is decked with the beauteous blooms of divine virtues. For it is no longer possessed by the evil spirit of egoism. When ego begins to dominate your personality, here you have to have clear understanding. First point, without ego you can't exist, even for a moment. But when ego stays with rajas tamas and does not come to the stage of sattva, then ego has developed a disease called egoism. Ego has found a car, aham car. I'm joking, but it's easy to remember some of these jokes. And it's the worst car you can ever have, aham car. Read the history, look at the politics, see the masses, what ego does. Egoism does, not ego. Ahamkar. All the troubles of humanity are based upon ahamkar. And it is ahamkar that doesn't allow you to understand who am I. Ahamkar shuts out your natural qualities that are inherent in your soul. They are called Atma Gunas. Every soul has that inherent tendency towards what? Daya, compassion. Even with birds and animals you will see, they develop certain compassion. Of course, I'm talking mostly about human beings. Next one, Kshanti. Even when you are troubled by someone, you handle it by love. Kshanti, Kshama. Kshama is a little tricky. If you develop the idea that you are so great, you go on forgiving everybody. That is not forgiveness. The awareness of having forgiven, then your forgiveness is not Kshanti. That type of forgiveness where mother deals with a child does so many amazing things. The mother is simply tickled by that. All that she says, how cute. So someone starts shouting at you, showing big teeth. I say, how cute. You were suffering from cold and now can speak out so clearly. I'm so happy about it. And that we don't learn from scriptures. That's innate. So if impurities are not there, these qualities are innate in you, you don't have to learn them. You come with them. Daya, compassion, shanti, forgiveness, anasuya, absence of jealousy. Why should you be jealous? Everybody has led themselves by karma, their karmic process. You have the same resources. Instead of wasting your time in jealousy, utilize your resources. Otherwise, you losing a lot of your energy in finding faults in others and securing those people in whom you can find faults. Otherwise, life will be boring. However, very natural tendency is not to mind others' defects. To be aware that you have all the resources that can lead you to the highest goal. Next one is shauch. Again, another aspect is instantaneous, is a spontaneous from your soul. Some mud has settled on your head. You don't ask me, what should I do? You immediately try to remove it. Your whole nature tries to remove impurity. That's very natural. That's called shauch, which is physical and mental. External shauch, keeping yourself in a healthy style of life. Internal shauch, keeping your mind free from anger, greed, hate, etc. All these are big animals, crowd your mind. Next one is anayas. If you are putting yourself in an integrated way, harmonized way, that's real health movement. I'm not talking medicinal health, because there are many healthy people doing very ugly things. Of course, I'm not going to that direction. And here comes doing the best in a very spontaneous manner. All that you do and whatever you do is a good type of things that are wonderful. The tree allows the flower to come in. How much artistry is there in the flower? And very spontaneously, even while everybody is sleeping, it begins to waft fragrance. That's called spontaneity. Your personality should bring out divine virtues and do amazing things in your environment. All spontaneously. But that will happen if you develop the art of practicing integral yoga in daily life. Put it more in a simple way, if you could develop bhakti, devotion to God, and allow everything that you do touched by devotion. Actions you are doing, they are a form of adoration to God. Then karma, that action becomes karma yoga. Sentiments by which you love people must realize God is loving them through your heart. And your heart has the great opportunity, privilege. Allow your heart to become God's heart. That's ultimate now. So, spontaneously being good, not with great struggle and great calculations, but spontaneously. That's called anayas. Spontaneously growing. Next point called mangal. Mangal means auspicious. The soul's movement, even a baby born looks with the eyes open, looking for something amazing. First amazing thing, looking at the nose of the mother. I'm joking. But a baby's heart is constantly excited by what is coming tomorrow. And that excitement doesn't give to the baby the idea danger is coming. Until the baby becomes little more mature, then the baby starts thinking in that way, colored by mother, father, etc. But originally, a baby has no fear, nothing. All baby looks for wonders. Whatever wonder it has felt, there is more wonder waiting. Wow, wow. That's called mangal. There is the baby doesn't have to go to an astrologer. Should I be happy or not? Every moment for the baby is auspicious. Akarpanya. Not be miserly. And that also is natural. Even with animals, suddenly you see a mother elephant sacrifices herself to a great extent to help her own child or near and dear one. You have stories of that. Go to Google. But what I'm pointing out, that is natural as a human being. Whenever there is a cordial relationship, or even uncordial, if you have discovered something, you want to share it with the whole world. See, all the scientists, they discovered something with tremendous effort. And now, you have in your hands iPad. All that you do is push your fingers. What led all that? Because deep in the heart of humanity is not being miserly. Whatever you have, it is meant to be shared. It's natural. And lastly, aspriha. Not to live with a mind full of craving, but mindful, enjoying fulfillment, satisfaction. These qualities are Atma Gunas. And they are the blooms that deck the personality of one who has come to a state of enlightenment. Having attained the boundless treasure of discriminative knowledge, it's called Viveka Buddhi. It's intuitive knowledge, discriminative knowledge, an awareness that is not intellectual, but a direct experience that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the senses. In a simple way, all that I experience through the mind, that experience is projection The I is different. All that is projected is being projections, being Maya. You can handle them as mature, they are your own projections. You are Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. And the entire world is Brahman's projection. So, that's what discriminative knowledge does. From your understanding, this is me, and these are the things I possess. And you will go a little more, this is me, this is my body, this is my mind, and all those things. But with Viveka Buddhi, you are not limited to your body. Your body is a part of the universe. If you are the body, you are the universe. Go one step further. How do you know it is universe or body? Because of mind. Can you separate body from the mind? Cannot be done. Can we experience anything without using the mind? Your computer can do that, but not you. I'm joking. And then, as a mind, you are not individual mind. How can you separate in cosmic mind, ocean of cosmic mind? So, if you are mind, you are universal mind. Go further, you are the very reality behind the mind, controller of mind, and your causal plane. And that controller is cosmic, just like your mind is a wave in ocean of mind. That controlling spirit is controlling all the ocean of unconscious. So, you are Ishvara. And that's not enough. When you come to this, all this being Maya, you alone are. Aham Brahmasmi. You say, well, if I became Brahman, what will happen to all these people? This question is childish. You became Brahman, you are the ocean. All these people are waves in the ocean. They all can attain the experience, I am the ocean. But from your angle, all are I am. From the ocean's angle, all waves are I am. So, having attained the boundless treasure of discriminative knowledge, the entire universe, all that you can imagine is I am. So therefore, that knowledge of Brahman is the boundless treasure. The long lingering poverty in the form of delusion has vanished. Long lingering poverty means soul in a state of bondage as jiva. It has gone through countless embodiments. Long process. But in all embodiments, no matter how much you have gained, you are just poor. Not only physically poor, poor in your understanding. Poor. Now that state of humiliation has gone. No more poor, but perfect. Now I abide in the Supreme Self. I have seen all that is to be seen. I have known all that is to be known. I'm waiting with each to assimilate it. It's a project much more than winning a big lottery. But when you hear about the lottery, people who have won it, the whole country becomes excited. But the greater truth is revealed to you, that you have won all that you see. You have known all that is to be known. I have attained all that is to be attained. Not just $1 million lottery. All that is to be attained. There's nothing more that remains to be accomplished by me. I will quote the exact Sanskrit of the Yoga Vasistha. Jnatam jnatavyam akhilam drishta drashtavya drishtyaya tat praptam adhunayena nanyaptam avashishyate. Knowing this, all that is to be known, I have known. Knowing Brahman, knowing I am Brahman. That knowledge means all the urge to know has become absolutely fulfilled. Drashta, drashtavya, drishyata, drishyeya. And having seen Brahman, having realized Brahman, all that is to be seen in this world have been accomplished. And having attained Brahman, nothing more remains to be attained. That has to be kept in your mind, and now and then should ring the bell. I have attained that spiritual land wherein evil does not exist. Now that state is being described to help your mind to be drawn to that ideal, to realize Brahman, I am Brahman. In that state, what are the advantages of being I am Brahman? I'm allegorical, it's just anyone asking it will be completely childish. But again, thinking of a childish mind, the description has to be wherein evil does not exist. If you have the ability to stay with the sun, the darkness doesn't exist there. Snakes in the form of sense objects are extinct. All sense objects are called Vishaya. Vish, poison. They are channels of bringing poison. If you are limited to sense enjoyments, sense pleasures, they are snakish. They have two poison teeth. They create raga and dvesha. Raga, attachment, that's enough to bring you back again in the next birth. Dvesha, that's another type, You have hated someone and you want to hate the person even in the next life. Snake of sense pleasure. It is a snakish movement. If you are following the path leading to enlightenment, then the snake is there, but the teeth get broken. Rather, the teeth become transplanted by other set of teeth. Raga becomes love of God. And Dvesha becomes negation of illusion. No, neti, neti. The mirage of desires have vanished. The mist of delusion has been dispelled. And the four directions are free of the dust of distraction. Here under the shade of the spiritual wisdom, I enjoy supreme peace. So deep level within yourself, sense of absolute fulfillment. For easy understanding, think of a child in the arms of a loving mother. No matter how many problems may be in the world, when a child finds in that setting, child has no worry about anything. If you develop that type of understanding, that you are loved by God, not because somebody is saying it, open your mind, see how much God has done for you. Your soul needed experience to attain liberation. God has given you embodiment. 99% of your physical reality is sustained by Him. He doesn't consult you now. What's the... Do you need the nail to grow? Do you need the hair to grow? Or so many things that happen. And all the body is constantly busy. The great Mahabharata war goes on from muscle to muscle. And God takes care of it. You don't have to worry about it. Yes, as science progresses more, you will be worried about it. You take a food, and there will be an instrument telling you where the food has gone. The example of Vikshepa. It is good in the hands of doctors, but if you are living your life with constantly with equipments and strings attached to your whole personality, then it's not a happy life. I have attained this self by adoring Lord Vishnu, by praying to Him, by the practice of mental serenity and spiritual sadhana. These are the points that being highlighted in order to attain what Prahlada said about that knowing Him all is known and I have known all that is, I am Brahman. But in order to attain that, devotion is most important, bhakti. So I have attained, Prahlad says, I have attained this self-realization by adoring Lord Vishnu. But when we say adoring God, You have to understand now God comes in different stages. First stage of God, Sagun Sakar. Sakar means you have a picture, you have a form. Sagun means if you think of God and God has many virtues, divine qualities. So whenever we think of God, we begin to think of first His personality. You are thinking of Shiva, you see Him seated, and matted locks and and Ganges river sprouting from His head, and a crescent moon, snake, all that allegorical things. With every deity, you have all that setting. That's called Sakar. You are seeing the form. But form is leading you to come to another level of understanding of God. That God is Karuna Sagar, His ocean of compassion. He is Kripa Sindhu, He showers His grace. And He can resolve all your problems. And as you mature further, He is always present in your heart. So you don't have to look for where should I go to find God. And suffer. I have no money. How can I go to Badri Kedar? Can't go there, how can you meet God? Until then you learn a lot of. So that stage you have to go beyond. Sagun Sakar is right in your own heart. And His form, His setting is based on your own artistic way of looking at it. And you are completely free, whichever way it makes you feel joyous. Allow that type of visualization to develop. Your heart is like a lotus. In that lotus, all the petals are your own sentiments. First gather those sentiments, call them. God is coming, come, come, come. And see them all becoming like a lotus. Now, God has come as Rama, as Krishna, as Shiva, as Devi, whomsoever. So that type of practice is the beginning process of bhakti. But now it should not stay only in your heart. Try to understand that God abides in the heart of everyone. So when you see a child smiling at you, you must realize behind the smile there is a presence of God. In other words, you bring your relationship with your near and dear ones. You should be able to share your love of God. And that relationship should allow you to be more encouraged to turn to God. That I'm describing the first stage of devotion. Second stage of devotion, you are not focused on God's form. You are focused on the qualities. Qualities, compassion. You feel your heart is getting tender. God is touching there through your tenderness. Feel your mind is enjoying humility. A flower has fallen into your mind, Suman. So, I'm leading you to Broadway to understand. Your mind is more focused on attributes of God, great virtues that you imagine. God, all the virtues that you think are good, God has infinite measure of that. If you like being kind, God is ocean of kindness. And all the virtues that you think, God is the ocean. So you go on reciting 1,000 names of God. In those names you are describing the glory of God, His power. But now if you go further up, mature, God is Nirguna Nirakar. Nirgun means God has no form. In the first two stages, form stayed. Form and attributes. Second stage, attributes, form moves away. Third, attribute and form both move away. You are so much overwhelmed by divine awareness that your mind doesn't have to give a language, a description. Because whatever you thought of kindness, happiness, joy, whatever you thought of is very tiny, little. Your thinking of God is bliss, ananda. But your concept of ananda is like a glowworm's light. So therefore, when you begin to understand and grow up in your spiritual maturity, you simply don't go after describing God, this quality, that quality. No, God reveals. You don't have to describe. Cloud has moved away. You don't have to describe the sun. Sun comes forth. So Nirgun Nirakar become at the high level of spiritual movement. And the proof of devotion is coming closer and closer to God until there is nothing but God. Then your devotion is perfect. Otherwise, your devotion remains imperfect. That's the story of Prahlad. He worshipped God, developed devotion. Now he has come to a state, I alone am, Aham Brahmasmi. I and Lord Vishnu are one and the same. By the grace of Lord Vishnu, and at that stage, your mind expresses both ways. That you are constant devotee, unshakable devotee of God. Devotion, your devotion to God is unshaken in all conditions. You define yourself as a devotee, as a das, as an instrument of God. And at the same time, you can have inner awareness that you are not just an instrument, your reality is God Himself. That's called bhakti and jnana. They become two aspects of the same attainment. By the grace of Lord Vishnu, the imperishable, egoless self has been realized by me as my very true nature. In the dark forest of vasanas, subtle desires, there are many crevices wherein the snakes of desires dwell. Your vasana world, subtle desire world of the subconscious, is very complex. There are also many pits in the form of repeated births and deaths. Many thorny bushes in the forms of cravings. The forest is noisy due to the voices of so many unfulfilled desires. Go into your unconscious, you'll find a lot of noise there. Furthermore, the forest is on fire. And thieves take advantage of the opportunity. When there comes storm or hurricane, etc., you lose your things, but at the same time you become more vulnerable to being robbed. Opportunity to rob the soul of all its wealth in the form of spiritual qualities. All the impurities begin to rob you of all these qualities. And with this I will conclude. Om Trayambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushti Vardhanam Urvarukmiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshiyamamritat Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchid Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Hari Om.